welcome back to the Beyond Electric Sheep podcast. I'm Rick Thompson.
And I'm Ed Daniels.
Ed, I wanted to talk about an article that you published earlier this month. I think it was called The Intersection of Smart and Stupid. It talks about how to use AI potentially in the future to help people better connect with their own thoughts on politics and to arrive at good decisions around politics. Anyway, why don't you describe it a bit?
That's a really good summary. Let me just explain sort of how I came up essentially I was asking myself this question. Okay, we've got all these people walking around with their smart devices, and now with AI basically having access to all the world's knowledge and delivered to us in human language, we can interact, we can ask questions. I mean, essentially, all of the libraries of the world are now available at our fingertip in essentially real time any place on the planet. So in a way, we're all getting way smarter. We have more access to intelligence. But on the other hand, you look at the political headlines every day, and you look at name-calling and insults and people making assumptions without solid facts behind them, and you think, this is so stupid. People must be getting stupider and stupider every day, but yet they're getting smarter or having access to smarter and smarter things every day. What is going to happen?
Going on?
Yeah.
How could it be polarizing when you have tools that help all sides get to hopefully objective truth? I think the reality is we don't have tools that are getting us to objective truth yet. I think that some of the cool AI, LLM stuff we have now actually may be going the other way. It's helping drive conspiracy theories and propaganda type stuff. So in order to have what you're talking about, which is basically a really well-informed electorate, I think what you're saying is people don't have to have the same opinion, but they should be starting from the same basic objective truths where objective truth is possible, and then form their opinions based on their values and background and that type of thing.
Yes, right. I think there's no need or reason. We don't want to depersonalize people. We want people to have their own values and everything, but we want them to understand better, first of all, the fact basis for their opinions. And we all know that there's fake news sources and information that people get from social media, et cetera, that's really just plain wrong. And so one thing is to help people establish the base facts.
Yeah.
And two is reasoning, and that is there's well-established logical mechanisms to deduce or inductively come to conclusions, and why not use logical processes? And people don't necessarily know that. I think in the article I say that it's usually a sort of a college level of education that teaches people how to use logic in order to come to conclusions, and not everybody, of course, has a college level of education.
It's an interesting thing because I think you're right. I mean, I remember a website called Snopes.com. Do you remember that?
I do.
And so someone would email you some crazy story. And then, at least for me, I'd immediately go to Snopes.com, and someone had done some research to figure out whether it was true or false, or likely true, likely false.
Right.
So you could do the same thing using AIs for sure, except you can go the steps you just talked about, which the AI could use inductive reasoning to dig down deeper and try to get to the true reality of a situation. For example, you have illegal immigration. So an AI that was truthful and not some propaganda tool could help you understand, okay, how much illegal immigration do we have? What's the cost of that in terms of increased crime and drag on societal benefits? What's the potential value of that in terms of cheap labor? Those types of things, and help you get to at least a truthful view of, how bad it is and how we should go after it or not. Probably should, but but at least understand what the magnitude of the situation is. And it does seem like if you had a truly objective system that could help you with fact finding and putting together those facts, that could help with that a lot. You would run into a problem of still, who controls that, and how much can you trust it? So, if you say, oh, well, let the federal government do it, well, what if your team's not in office? Are you still trusting it?
Right. Right. I think, and we all know, and I think this is a big danger, that it doesn't take all that much to slant people in the wrong direction or, give them information that is purported to be a fact, but it's really not. It's made up, or a conspiracy theory, or that sort of thing. So we know that computers can be used to take people in the wrong direction, and this is exemplified by social media, right, where you echo chamber rumors and incorrect information. So to me, though, the modern AIs, large language models, and the way that they're advancing are truly smart. So they can, they have access to the world's information. They can parse out facts versus falsehoods. And so in an idealized circumstance, people would interact with them and learn the facts versus not. The earth is flat. Well, actually, some people believe the earth is flat, but it's not. It's a sphere. And so one would want the machine the artificial intelligence to correct you and give you the real information, especially in something that's as obvious as that. But to me, in writing this article, I realized that that's not even good enough. And I give advice for developers and trainers, because really, in a way, you grow these large language models almost as much as you build them, that actually what we should do is tweak them a little bit to help people learn how to determine facts. That way they can fact check the AI itself, but they can also fact check themselves and get in the habit of checking facts. And just to take that one more step, and that is reasoning. In other words, if a person talks to an AI and comes to an illogical conclusion, is it good enough for the AI to say, no, actually the world is a sphere? Or do they need to say, and here's why I think so, and here's what you should be doing when you come to conclusions like that. You should be thinking it through in this way. Talk to experts, go to trusted sources, et cetera.
I like that, actually. So if it's not just saying, sort of being the judge and saying, nope, it's a sphere, next question, which is going to leave someone who thinks the world is flat maybe even more convicted.
Right.
See, I knew those LLMs, they always hallucinate. There's proof right there.
Exactly.
But instead, if it said it's a sphere, let me take you through a few steps of how to think about this.
Right.
And then start from, basic principles to hopefully help the person go, oh my gosh, it does. It has to be a sphere. Right. I've had it wrong. Right. That would be really valuable.
Yeah. So I think just like we found out from Facebook, et cetera, it's easy to slide people in a bad direction.
Oh, yeah.
It's if you have real intelligence, why can't you slide people in a little bit better direction in terms of facts and reasoning? It doesn't mean you take away their basic principles or their beliefs,
right?
But it just means you help them understand the implication of those principles and beliefs, and maybe help them be smarter, in this case, voters.
Yeah, okay. It's interesting. You don't want it to impinge on people's opinions, but you want them to have facts backing up how they're thinking about it. I think of the little blue book you get with the voting issues.
Yes.
I always read that. I love it. Here's the pros, here's the cons. You can make a decision based on your values and your opinion on which one is better. You can't say, the LLM can't say, so obviously objectively voting yes on this is the right answer. Right. But it can say, here's the reasons why. But it should also, in that case, when it's opinion, say, and here's the reasons no, do your best. And it could maybe even help interview them. How do you feel about this issue?
Right.
Have you thought about that?
Yeah.
Not to manipulate them to one way or the other, but just to help them think it through fully.
Exactly. And I did have GPT-4 read this article, which is going to be available for anybody watching this podcast, and read this article and then help me think through, well, how could we make this all happen? What could we do? And in a way that doesn't violate GPT-4's guardrails or my principles or, proper process for this kind of a thing. And it did help me think about that by suggesting that we interview the person, the user, to sort of extract or understand their beliefs and principles, and then enumerate them and have the person confirm that that's correct. And then at the same time, then also look at issues that might be on the ballot or candidates and try to extract the issues related to, the principles related to those issues. Does this issue support what your principles are, for example? And so in that way, in a very transparent way, the AI could help people make better voting decisions without imposing any kind of belief structure or anything.
I love that. It's sort of a better trusted source than just sort of some objective website. If you have a question on something, so you're trying to figure out if the world is round or
Right.
a sphere, you can Google that, and if you're kind of thinking it's probably flat, you're going to end up going down that path, and it's
Right.
just going to reconfirm. And so potentially having something that's designed and programmed to try to get to base truth based on sort of first principles type truths, way better.
And I think one of the things that we found from other types of investigations is that in some ways people are more comfortable talking to AIs about this stuff than they are other humans. So
There's been
you could,
surveys on that,
help an AI could be way more patient with a person. For you or me, somebody saying, "Oh, the world is flat," you think that guy's a kook, or I'm not even going to waste my time on that person. But on the other hand, an AI could be convinced, or just through prompt instructions, you could instruct the AI to take its time and not try to push this person too fast, but rather work with them through the logic and understanding. It could even come back to multiple sessions and discuss that.
I love that. Of course, my mind immediately goes to, okay, you could also use that to brainwash people into your political agenda. Yeah. So you'd have to somehow know it's trusted. And people that want to believe a conspiracy theory are still going to find that LLM that will support it. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I like it.
Yeah.
All right. I'll look forward to seeing that when it's published.
And we'll post the link to that article.
All right. Sounds good.
Right.
Thanks, Ed.